What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having none other than a mixed martial arts professional with close to 30 fights, actually, right around that deal. Bare Knuckle Fighter. He is the one and only Hitman, Joe Elmore. What's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Not much, not much.
My
Glad to have
dog's going
you.
crazy.
Yeah, man. So good to have you. Obviously, how's everything looking in Georgia right now?
Pretty good, man. Just busting my butt training. Getting ready for this fight, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got talk to us about the fight coming up. Obviously, I mean, you announced it on your social media, but I mean, let's get into it.
Man. To fighting Tom September the 11th, Daytona Beach, Florida, for the 9/11 Memorial Fight. Tom's a 3-fight veteran for them, Ultimate Fighter veteran as well. I'm a Bellator veteran. He's a hard hitting guy with a couple knockouts. Also been knocked out a couple times. I'm a hard hitting guy that's knocked out a bunch of people. Never been knocked down one time, but we'll see how it goes, man. He's got an opportunity to do something nobody's ever done before, and I got an opportunity to continue doing what I've been doing the last 2 or 3 fights, knocking people out, man. Excited.
No, for sure, for sure. And I mean, we're ready to see you back, and it's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty here, and in terms of the combat sports world, in what ways in this kind of like new normal, fight promotions are going to be able to, basically commence right with the rest of the year into next year. So everybody's kind of looking at each other and going like, what is this guy doing? What is this promotion doing? And whatever. So that's, I mean, first off, I mean, how early did this fight get announced?
Well, the official announcement was yesterday. They offered me this fight quite a while ago, literally about a week and a half after my knockout for BKFC 11. It wasn't official, but Tom's management apparently said he was ready to fight. He wanted to take the fight. Yeah, man. So it got started like that. We made the official announcements once they got the venue contract down, and once they got that contract with the venue and the ability to sell some tickets on Ticketmaster, man, we was both ready, dude. I was just waiting to sign it. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool, but I mean, it's a long time coming. Obviously, a fight veteran. I mean, just your MMA record alone, holy smokes! And then, BKFC 11, which you most recently fought at. So it's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Sorry, my dogs are going crazy. I'm having to get my wife to get them down so I can put this phone back down. So repeat that again, man. I'm sorry. I got her putting them up.
No worries. I mean, it's been a long time coming. This fight in particular, then.
Yeah, well, I mean, not really a long time coming, but I even before I fought for BKFC 11, when I fought Will Chope, I told them, I was like, man, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna knock him out. If I do, guarantee me some fights. I'm ready to go. If I stay healthy, I want to fight over and over. They've been trying to fill the roster for a while, bring in some guys to be able to have more fights, title fights, big fights. Tom's an exciting guy, man. So I'd researched him and a few other guys. I've already got another opponent in mind who I want next. I mean, I guess it's not a secret, but if I knock Tom Schoaf out, I want to hit Leonard Garcia in the face too. I think that'll be another amazing fight for the fans, dude. I like fighting gritty, dirty people. You know what I'm saying? And then plus it gives me an opportunity to knock more people out, guys that like to bang. So I got a bunch of ideas in my head. Even if Tom gets lucky or fulfills his dream to knock me out, or it happens that way, I'm still gonna call out Leonard Garcia and fight too, man, or fight Tom again. I don't care. I'm just gonna enjoy this, man. That's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is amazing. the bare knuckle fighting is just it's kind of brought back what UFC was to me in the beginning, you know, when you could headbutt and kick them in the crotch. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's fighting. So, and I'm glad there's rules like that, because I still, me and my wife might have kids, and and we don't want to kill each other. But this is we stay safe, man. It's a bloody, brutal, real fight, but our cuts can heal. If we don't break our hands and we're precise scientists when we punch with the power, I mean, the likelihood of our careers lasting longer in this than even UFC, less knee injuries or things like that, man. And again, you're not going to see a lot of people booing. There's no chance for Usman to take somebody down and hold them down, but we can still clinch and beat the hell out of people with plum clinches. And man, this is fun, man. I think it's more fun for the fans, and that's why I fight.
I love it. I love every bit of it. Now, I mean, obviously, I mean, you're a fighter through and through, but how did your, kind of, I guess, career start? I mean, did it start in the gym, or just a willingness to take fights? Like, what was the background in this?
For me, what started me fighting?
Yeah.
I'm ADHD, man, really hyperactive, especially when I was a kid. So I had to have an outlet. You know, my parents found that martial arts, I did gymnastics, martial arts, boxing, a little bit everything. A black belt under Buddy Colburn in Dyersburg, Tennessee. I grew up, and I'd go from boxing training to taekwondo training to gymnastics. My dad was a gymnast, man. He could do double backflips. They'd jump off roofs on the what they call seesaws and flip
Yeah.
off, man, do like clown stuff. And so I've always been a pure athlete with too much energy. So by the time I was 14, man, I was knocking people, the kids out in class. My sensei, Buddy Colburn, would make me take a adult class, and I was knocking them out too, man. I've always had some kind of amazing power, maybe, from my gymnastics and core strength. And so I grew up doing it, and then I wound up wrestling in high school. I went to state all 4 years, so it was any kind of one-on-one combat sport where nobody else could make mistakes for me, and my power was a factor. I always did good, man. I beat guys that were state champion and national champions just because I could bench press 355 pounds when I weighed 152. And even now, I do yoga and I don't lift a lot of weights. People see look how big and stocky I am, but I eat healthy. I got recovery supplements, and like my sponsors, I get electrode therapy, and I just take care of myself. I train full time, and 37 years old, and I probably have the body and strength of a 27-year-old because of the way I take care of myself, and just and like I said, man, I just prepare and love this. It's my lifestyle. It's everything to me, from the fans to the fights to the promoters to everything. To you guys, I love doing these podcasts, man. Meeting new people all over the world. It's amazing. Not everybody gets to do this stuff in the middle of COVID. I still feel like I'm living. So
I think it's brilliant. And, it's funny because you almost did a reverse because, a lot of fighters, most notably, George St. Pierre, right? He, take up gymnastics, in terms of a way to recover or a way to get a bit of new eyes to what they've already been doing. But you started out in gymnastics and stuff like that, and then coming into MMA. So you already have all of that. And then it's just sharpening up all of the tools, all the striking, the grappling, all of it, right?
Well, you know what? It's funny. What started my gymnastics, I didn't even know. But when I started kindergarten, you're so nervous when you start school. And there was this little kid at my school that stood up on the edge of the stairs and did a backflip off. And I was like, oh, I want to do a backflip. Like, wow, everybody thought he was the coolest kid in school. So I just remember like going and standing on this big hill and doing a flip and about breaking my neck, and my dad telling my dad about it. I mean, I made the flip. It was kind of a backhand head spring. I don't know. And I remember going home and telling my dad about it. My dad ran through the yard and was like, backhand him, round off, double backhand spring, double backflip, boom. And I'm like, all right, well, my dad's a badass. Okay, so my dad started teaching me gymnastics, and one of his friends ran the gymnastics center. It was Rainbow when I coached it, but it was before that. I can't remember the name of it. His buddy's place, But I went there and I trained gymnastics, and then along with that, Buddy Colburn. Even at 9 years old, man, I started. I think it was 9 or 10. Man, I'm horrible with time. I get punched in the head for a living, so y'all got to forgive me. But somewhere about 9 or 10 years old, I started doing the gymnastics and the taekwondo, boxing, all around the same time. That was baseball. I've got some. I was I did anything I could do to not run around the house, run bases around the house. You know what I mean?
I think it's great, and especially as I mean, right now you're 37 going on 38, right? And you feel better than you ever had. And it's those things that early on, gymnastics and taekwondo, those are high, like dexterous flexibility, sports, and athletic endeavors. So, I think a lot of that goes into your longevity thus far in the sport. And you're not even in the twilight. Most people would be in the twilight, but like the best is yet to come when it comes to you
I'm way
because of
more
those things.
powerful. I'm way more powerful. The yoga and all the different things, and plus the mindset too. When you eventually, at my age, I have got over my ego, so I have an ability to take my balance my pure athletic ability, and being in my prime at 37 years old with the mentality of a grown man who's got a 16-year-old son and a family, and my wife's my manager, my corner, man. I'm so balanced in life. It's mind, body, and soul. Bruce Lee's one of my greatest idols. Don't be the glass, be the water. I say it all the time. But it's more of the mindset. It's just going with the flow of things, understanding where the universe puts you, putting yourself in the right place around the right people. And if you can do that, you can be successful. And sometimes life is hard, man. It kicks you harder and punches you harder than any human. That's why people, would believe in God or not, I fear nothing but God, no man whatsoever. And I live by that, because the universe is the only thing that can take me out. No man can, unless it's my time to go. So I live for my family, and I live with the mindset of he who angers you controls you, defeat your enemies by living well. And I'm just not gonna, whatever. It's lemons make lemonade, and I find many blessings and a different kind of power that the universe gives me when I live like that. It's just balance.
No, and balance, that's something that it fits you, especially at this stage of your career, and with the experience and everything. But when we throw out the term mixed martial artist, right, we talk about like in one particular fight, right, some kickboxing here, some grappling here, whatever. But you have literally gone and competed on all aspects. You fought for, Holyfield boxing. Like you're doing bare knuckle now. You have like what, close to 30, if not 30,
40, about
MMA
40
fights and
fights,
everything
yeah,
like that.
because there's only one amateur MMA fight on my record, but that's because I fought unsanctioned pro in Alabama, was 9-0 for Fat Lip MMA. I got a bunch of that pictures and stuff on there, but I've got a couple like 3-second knockout, 10-second knockout, like all kinds of stuff. And that was due. We could, even back then they called it amateur, but I fought in a pair of, I always tell everybody this, but I fought, it was a pair of UFC gloves, and it was for a company called UCF, Ultimate Fighting Championship, instead of Ultimate Championship Fighting. They changed it around. You see what they did there? But I fought with the Walmart UFC gloves and no hand reps, and as long as your corner or the guy that we're fighting agreed, yeah. And then in the back, like, we're throwing elbows, we're like, yeah, elbows, or no, let's not do elbows or whatever. But we always did elbows, so it's funny, man. I've been fighting a long time. I probably had 100 karate fights. We used to do demonstrations, and that was, we were full contact. I think it was supposed to be point, but we were a little bit of a redneck karate school. So a lot of our guys were taekwondo school. Excuse me, Sensei punched me for that. But yeah, we fought, man. He let us put on demonstrations and have in-house tournaments, and we had a bunch of guys from my town that grew up out in the country, didn't have nothing to do but fighting. So we were all pretty good at it.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say
Yeah.
so. And Cheddar323 is chiming on YouTube. He said those are some powerful words. It's refreshing to see an MMA fighter so level-headed, and especially in the unfortunately this week there was some unfortunate news with Jason Mayhem Miller, and most people will think that, oh, MMA fighters are just like both male and female, or any combat sports athlete, boxer, taekwondo, it doesn't matter, right? And they think that, it's just like dragging knuckles Cro-Magnon. But like, I mean, when I used to train, in Pasadena, California, we at my gym we had people that literally worked at JPL and went to school at Caltech that are literally shooting rockets into the moon, and they're struggling with hooks, combos, arm bars, and what have you, right? And I'm all like, yes, of course, everything has its balance, but I mean, some of the most articulate, some of the most level-headed people, and some of the most true and blue, like earnest people, have come from the combat sports world.
Yeah, man, that's what I love. Okay, so one of my favorite parts about combat sports and mixed martial arts is, man, it doesn't matter what color. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. It makes me want to cry, man. I'm a very emotional but humble. That's where my power comes from, because I fight for love. And my sensei used to say, we fight for those that can't fight for themselves. The strong will fight for the weak. And it's like, I get to entertain, and where else can I find a black guy, a white guy, a Chinese guy, a Russian guy that can't speak English? None of them, but they can come and cheer for me. And whether they're cheering for me or against me, I have a one opportunity, whether it's on TV or right there in front of me, to control every single human emotion and be bright and steady. And even after I beat Will Chope, I hugged his dad, and his friends come up and said, "Man, I was with him, but your energy was amazing, and you hugging him afterwards was amazing." And so that just makes me feel good. My grandma calls it, was it selflessly selfish? When you do so much for others, it makes you feel better than you should, and it almost feels selfish. Like, it's amazing, man. And it's fighting, but it's not violent. It's mutual. Some guys are a-holes, and excuse my language, complete assholes. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I've actually met a couple of them, and I'll go with them too, man. I'll beat up a bully. I don't like bullies and arrogant pricks and assholes, and that's what makes this fight fun with Tom. From what I've seen, he's a gentleman. He's only talked shit when people have talked shit about him. He believes in himself. He's confident. I believe in myself. I'm confident. So it's going to be an amazing experience to just know that we can beat the hell out of each other. And I watched a fight of him and Julian Lane. Man,
Yeah.
God, they beat the crap out of each other. But I seen a fight afterwards where they're hugging each other, eyes swole, staples shut.
Mhm.
That's me, dude. You can go on my page, and Jordan would normally beat my ass. I underestimate him. I talked about this the other day on the podcast, and I had a pop knot on my head, but I made him hug me, and I went and I took a picture with him with his elbow on my pop knot bleeding, just to have the picture. After the fight, I rushed in and I hug him and pick him up, and because he's a humble, amazing guy. So this is just fun. I like to see that side. There's a balance too, man. I'm a very big character. Jerry Lawler was a family member of mine, like a fourth cousin. We didn't have a lot to do with each other, but my mom got the referee at the Mid-South Coliseum, which is a famous place. Sergeant Slaughter, Flying Brian Pillman, and they did a brick glove ladder match when I was a kid. I got to go backstage and meet all of them, cutting their faces open with razor blade and then gluing it back shut so they could rip it apart when they fought. And so I mean, I had that character, but it's like when Conor McGregor was being a character, it was awesome. But then he became an asshole, and it was like, oh man, people wanted you to lose. We were paying to watch you lose. And then he came back and quit talking shit and hugged Donald Cerrone's mom after they fought, and that was beautiful. I'm like, oh, I like him again. I give him a second chance. So I've learned to kind of keep that balance too, man. I think that people see that I believe in myself, but I'm not a prick unless you deserve it. Then I can be.
Yeah.
I'm also a warrior. I don't mind defending some asshole.
Yeah.
If
No,
somebody
I
wants
think
to
that's
talk shit
absolutely
in me,
fair.
I'll beat you up, but you're going to regret it after a BKFC fight. Ain't no running if you're an asshole.
No, there it is. There it is. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why I can't sit down and like watch a regular movie, or I don't know what the hell else is going on, because the truest and bluest stories come from the world of combat sports. You literally will see everything that that person's soul is willing to give you in that canvas, whether it be BJJ, whether it be, Muay Thai, boxing, bare knuckle, whatever. You can say you're all this and I done this and whatever. Once you step on the mats, that's the truth teller. You can't lie there. It doesn't matter what you came from, who you train with, or whatever. That's the truth. The truth, the way, and the light. I swear.
Yep. 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 There's a beginning and end, Alpha and Omega, and it starts when the bell rings and when it goes off. Two lines. Hey, look, I call it two lions and a zebra. You got a dude in a striped shirt in the middle, and he blows his whistle. That's when it's over. Until then, just lions fighting over that territory, and there's a cage or a ring or ropes or a squared circle or bare knuckle boxing, fighting, kicking, whatever sport it is, man. I love it, dude. And when you leave it there and you have that respect, that's when it's amazing. That's when you get to bring in everybody and make a difference, and it's beautiful, dude. That's why I want to do it as long as I can, forever. And even when I'm done doing it myself, I'm gonna have my own guys do it. And I'm gonna have my own fighters and pass on what I've done to other people and sit in the corner and or announce or referee or Joe Rogan at something. I'll never let go of everything that I do with this sport, just because it is my whole life, my whole family, everything. Dude, you'll see if my podcast, I'm surprised 25 of my family members haven't tuned in and watched it. They usually do. It's the middle of the day here, so but I have such a support system. It's amazing.
No, it is. I think it absolutely is. Not just to have your family, but your fight family. And I mean, most people. I've been doing this, 4 years now, and especially in California, there was like fights happening every weekend. Sometimes three on a weekend. Whether it be BJJ, Muay Thai, MMA, whatever. We had it like every weekend for the last year. Sometimes 3 times a week, and people will ask me like, "What's your favorite part?" And I'm all like, right after, right after, because it's the hugs and the teammates, whatever. You even see opponents, you check their social medias in the week or two after, and now the opponents are training together and their gyms are training together and cross training. And it's just like, it's such a beautiful deal.
It's been like that since the beginning. I have I got a story. When I was in Montgomery, Alabama, I was the 170 champion, the 185. I fought everywhere for Fat Lip MMA. Miss Terry Hillman opened it up there. That was the Unsacred Company, but I was down in Panama City, Florida, training with some guys, and I went down there and I became the champ. And then I fought this dude, and he had a camp. He was him and a couple other fighters that were rooming in this room, and they're like, dude, after we fought, we beat the crap out of each other, all right? But I laid there while they IV dripped him in the cage at the fight, and I wasn't going to leave out of the cage without him to go to the after party because we promised each other whoever won was going to buy the other one a drink. And I won, so I had to buy him a drink, and I wasn't going to let him lay in that cage and not get IV dripped and come. So we went together. I wound up moving down to Montgomery, Alabama, like a week later, moving in, rooming with them, and becoming a part of their team. And then it happened to me again. I moved from Guerrilla MMA in Montgomery, Alabama to Alabaster. Same thing. I fought a dude named Jacob Lamar. He's with Team Spartan. He's a pro brown belt now down there. Me and Jacob Lamar Amble, man, we beat the crap out of each other. Again, same thing. I waited for him. We went to that party. We hung out together. We bought drinks, and I wound up moving down there and becoming teammates with them and becoming better because you had to evolve and move, and you find these friends, and not even the people you fight, but like Elvin Burrito and Chris Sorrows. We didn't know each other a day, but we made such a friendship. And I'll probably go to Puerto Rico and visit those guys. I'll probably go up to Maine and eat me some lobster and train with Chris Sorrows. And even if he fights my teammates or whatever it is, we'll take care of that serious business, beat the shit out of each other, and everybody knows there's a hotel party. And that's when the referees, the girls, the coaches from both sides, and everybody gets together like a big family, and we laugh and celebrate and take pictures together, win or loser or whatever, man. And it's such a beautiful, big, huge, small community, such a small world from all over the world, man. You just never know when you're involved in it. You'll run into them everywhere. And beautiful,
No,
man.
absolutely. And I almost feel like, especially with all like the craziness that's going on in the world, I'm all like, maybe all you guys need to be a part of the combat sports community, because it's where it doesn't matter where you vote, who you vote for, doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter who you marry, whatever. We're all a family here. Like, and all we want is to do the betterment of each other. And guess what? As your opponent, nobody else, not even your coaches, not even your spouses or whatever, are going to know what you two combatants, two athletes have gone through, other than the person standing on the opposite side of the ring, cage, or whatever.
Yep, and we're both pushing each other to be the best version of ourselves we'll ever be in any moment of life. The absolute, like, where nobody else can ever push you to get that, elevate that high either. It's us. That's the adrenaline part. I love that part of it too, man. Those moments when time slows down and you just see them. Oh man, you can't. I skydive too. So whenever you jump out of the plane and you stop falling and you feel like you're flying for that moment, It's the same feeling when you're in that cage and somebody's whipping your ass, and you don't even hear. You can just hear. Time is slow. Voices are slow. It's like they're sucking helium, and it's amazing. I love it.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. And a question that I love coming in from Jesse Velasquez, who's a IFS champion here in California. He's asking, what's the difference between landing, and taking hits with fights, gloves versus no gloves?
Uh, from what I see, man, I felt his bone when I hit him this time. When I hit him in the face, I thought I cracked his orbital from that left right, and it was kind of like it brought a different shock to me because I mean, I used to bare knuckle fight back in high school, dude. We would get bored out in the middle of the country, and we'd get a keg of beer from the Bud Light place because my buddy dated a girl whose grandma owned Bud Light in Dyer County, and we'd sell fights and circle trucks up and have pit fights and underground our little different martial arts gyms were like who's better than who. There wasn't no weight classes. We was listening to each other up. You'd be fighting in blue jeans and a wife beater, kneeing people in the face, fighting from out. It's just so for me. I'm used to it, but you definitely feel it, man. Like I don't know. I didn't feel it when he hit me. I didn't know I was bleeding until I grabbed my face. That's when I started changing levels and throwing those switches and bombs because I didn't want my face cut up. It usually takes a little bit more when you have the MMA gloves because it slides off, and that's all I feel it protected. As long as they let us wrap our hands up to here, I mean, my knuckle was a little sore. I knew for a fact I couldn't with hit him right here, so I had to be careful with punches like that. It made me more precise, but I think my adrenaline was going better just knowing the kind of punch, man. I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if that answered his question. It definitely. Will Chope said it feels a lot different whenever he got hit with the gloves. I went back and gave him a big hug, and that's what the first thing he was when I walked in on his interview. He's like, honestly, I've been in a lot of Muay Thai fights and a lot of gloves, but without gloves, it's different. But my face is numb. I've got the fight right here, so I can't even feel this part of my face. And if you'll notice, I have no feeling or nerves in my nose anymore because I have a deviated septum from getting punched so much. So maybe that helps too. I don't know. I don't. I
I
don't
don't know.
think. I don't feel get punched.
It might be an advantage.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. I got in a fight with Ryan Jett. Man, it's the guy that was me. I was trying to knock him out, and I knew I could out grapple him, but I wanted to knock him out. I like to fight, whatever. So even though I'm a really amazing grappler, sometimes I'd rather bang. But anyway, I took him down, knee barred him in the third. But I went to like smile, and I looked like Rocky Adrian. I couldn't even move. I could not feel my whole face. My lip didn't move on this side of my mouth. I'd dribble water when I drank about 3 months, and then it came back. But when I now when I fight, I don't I got feeling, but I don't feel it. It's kind of like I don't know, like when you ice something and it's numb, but you touch it, you feel it, but you don't feel it.
Well, I mean, that's more than a calling card or a greeting card for your birthday, something to remember you by, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cheddar's saying, Mr. Elmore, what is your opinion of Paige Van Zandt joining bare knuckle boxing?
it's
I definitely
amazing.
want to get your thoughts on it.
It's amazing, man. She's a combat warrior. Um, I'm not talking shit about anybody, but if you don't fight, please stop saying shit. Like if you're not like a true fan of fighting, please shut up. I mean, I love you and I appreciate y'all that don't fight and love me and watch us fight and whatever, but your opinion is only matters to you because Paige is a warrior and it's going to make me a lot more money. I mean, y'all are going to watch whether you love her or hate her or you're talking shit about her. Sometimes your haters make you more famous than your lovers do. The lovers just make you love more, whatever. I mean, that's how I feel. I thank you, Paige. I appreciate you because you're going to make me more money and you're going to make me more famous and bring it in and fight and commentate. And hell, I hope she commentates my fight. It's going to be awesome because Paige Van Zandt's commentating Joe. If you don't watch Joe, you're going to watch Paige. Watch Joe. Watch Joe. So, anybody that says anything different, stupid. Or well, I mean, excuse me, but
No,
I mean,
I
it's
agree. And
stupid.
you know,
I mean, it's just it's stupid. And I understand what they're saying. Oh, she's beautiful, but like, why don't y'all say that about me? I think I'm sexy. Do I got to take my shirt off? I mean, I could I can mess my face up too. Why aren't y'all saying that about me? Because
yeah,
I'm not a pretty blonde woman or whatever. Everybody can fight. This is mixed martial arts. Remember what I said earlier? I love it because it's so culturally diverse. Just let it be that. Quit
yeah.
bringing politics and bullshit in.
No, I 100% agree. And Bellator, right, in recent years, especially under the leadership of Scott Coker, had gotten a litany of just like trash talking and hate and vitriol happening because of these, like these, bringing Hoist Gracie back, bringing, legends of the sport back, right, for one more fight, Tito Chael. But here's the thing: a lot of my friends fought on the undercards of that, and guess what? They were buying houses. They were putting their kids' education funds, getting
Buy
fatter
my
and
son a
whatever.
truck.
So bring it
Shut up.
on.
Yeah. 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 I bought my son a truck. Keep talking shit. This is great. This is the best shit in my face I've ever had. Keep buying me shit. Come on. Hell yeah. For sure, bro. For sure, man. Because I mean, the same people talking shit, they had to have watched it, right? The advertisements, they paid the money, or they just like who else was it? Oh my God, Howard Stern. More
Oh yeah,
people watched Howard Stern because they hated him than and he made Private Parts the movie, and he's doing pretty damn good for so many people that hate him. Maybe I need more people to hate me. I got to start being more of an asshole. I got.
yeah. But I mean,
Oh
it's
man, it's
absolutely
funny.
true. And as you can see, like I've got the California state title in MMA and a replica of an NWA title, right? Wrestling and MMA, and I fall somewhere in between. Controversy creates cash, right? And I think Jim Ross said it best in terms of it doesn't matter if somebody's watching the pay per view at home, going down to their local watering hole and watching it with their friends, going to a party at their buddy's house to go buy the fights, or in the arena itself. It's an ass in every 18 inches, right? And however way that you need to put those asses in the seats, that's the way you have to do it. And the best believe if boo you, cheer you, doesn't matter. But if nobody reacts to you at all, you're in the wrong business. Doesn't matter how great you fight, how many black belts you hold, or whatever. Again, if controversy creates cash.
Yep, you gotta have people that hate you, man. Like people hate success, especially when they can't figure out how to get it, and so they try to live off other people's success instead of getting their own, or off, or just trying to make you feel bad to make themselves feel better if they can. It's like a bully to me, but again, that's what I'm fighting against. So I'm happy for everybody, dude. I want the main event on my next card to get paid $1 million, because then I'm gonna ask for more, because I know if they're paying that, and I need more too. So please pay people more other than me, and then I'll ask for more next card.
Yeah, why not? And then
Yeah,
you got
man.
a like a three-way bidding war. You have Bare Knuckle, you have
They got
the
a bunch of
UFC,
big
you have
names too.
Bellator. You
They
have
got a
all of
bunch of
them
big
bidding for
guys
your
for us,
contract.
man. Oh yeah, like I mean, even Chris Lieben and Chris Lytle and like guys like that, they're bangers like me. That's what I was telling Chris Lytle in the back before my last fight. I was like, man, I love you guys because y'all fought, and it wasn't to win; it was for us. It was for. I remember going, dude, I don't know if he's gonna win this fight, but I've never watched Chris Lieben lose a fight or Chris Lytle and said, God, I don't like them anymore. There's people that turn their backs, these fake fans that are like riding like they do with NFL and different teams and things like that. And and so yeah, I ain't like that, man. I like guys that fight, and I love them forever, whether they win or lose. Dan Henderson, uh, 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 Randy Couture. Look, he had one of the most 50-50 records in the world, one of the greatest fighters of all time, if you ask me. And he's 50-50, but he also fought Brock Lesnar, not in his prime, and he didn't care and
Yes,
almost beat him in that clinch with that dirty
yes.
boxing. And so, I just hope to leave a legacy like those guys, man, in bare knuckle boxing. And I remember what made those guys famous was some of the first like 20 fights of UFC. After
Mhm.
UFC 20, the superstars were created. I've got to get it on 11. I'm in on 12. I get an opportunity to be one of those guys of the BKFC world. So the more guys, the more famous people they bring in back to Page, man, it's just, man, look how we're growing so fast, dude. It's amazing. Especially
No, I
I see how y'all react too.
no, I agree 100%. And especially with like the one that kind of or pisses me off a little bit is the one with the criticism of Chris Lieben because so I mean, total disclosure, he's a friend, but also to it, I mean, here in California, he's a referee with the California Mixed Martial Arts Organization, CAMO, that belt that you see there, right? So he's a referee, right? So to tell somebody, and he's a coach at the arena in San Diego. So to say that, oh, his best days are done or whatever, this is somebody who's given his entire life to the sport of combat sports and then giving back to the next generation of fighters, both as a referee and a coach, right? So who are you to tell him? And especially, I mean, kicked it. I mean, if you want a feel good story, especially at a time like this, you kicked all of his addictions and everything like that, and has come back bigger and brighter on the other side of it, right? So there you go. What better things to come into?
MMA, when you're dedicating your life to it, what it takes to be a champion can save your life. I grew up in a really poor but crazy backwoods town that had good people. Has everybody's got good and bad. It don't matter where you're from. It don't matter who you are or none of that stuff. There's people have problems and downs and ups and some of the people that have been the lowest are my favorite people because seeing the comeback and it can share an inspiration and a story that somebody that's always had it and can never feel and never understand it. It's what part of makes a fighter. So those beautiful comebacks and seeing that. But I mean, I don't care what other people say. Eventually, people are gonna hate on me. They're gonna say I sound like a redneck or my head's fat or I'm ugly or I've already seen people, he injects steroids in his eyeballs. And my wife's teacher of the year, and they were telling her she looked like she's on burnt toast because she was excited because I won $10,000. Oh, y'all don't know what that feels like? Come on, man. Like, but it just brushes off me. It's like negative and dark energy just runs around, and it's funny, and then it's more like I don't laugh in their face. I do kind of, but I win. So when I win or if I lose, I still stay humble. And then they can just look and keep hating, and they're the ones that go home and think about themselves dealing with it. And I'm thankful for guys like Chris Lieben and I mean, God, think about him coming back and even doing that and what that means to guys like us, like Jesus. And those were heroes of mine. Ken Shamrock, and I remember I met Ken Shamrock at the Battle of Rome when I did fight Amir Dodovic. I fell on the floor. I'm like, oh man, just walk over the top of me, bro. I just, like, because they're legends to me. Who I am in my heart is part of all of them. And I call my left hand Chuck Liddell and my right hand the Joe Bomb after Dan Henderson, the Hendo Bomb. So I got that right hendo instead of the right hando, and that left Liddell.
I love it. I love it. And you've put people down, left, right, and center, with those two friends of yours. You're heroes of the sport. So I think, don't change it. Don't change one iota, And Jesse saying, awesome. I like your respect amongst the fighters. It's a war between two martial artists and two gentlemen or ladies in the instances of female fighting. And I mean, I think it's just great.
Absolutely, man. If not, it just affects. It just brings in bullshit. It's like it's not an election. Let's just go out here and have fun, man, and respect both guys. And I mean, it's okay to bet and pick a winner and a loser, and it's okay to have fans and love somebody more than the other one. But like, man, I've had my friends fight each other, and I'm at fights like cheering them both on, and afterwards I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I didn't know who to cheer for. I love you both, and I'm just glad you had a good fight. You're both safe. Glad that's fucking over. Now let's go fucking party. Let's chill.
Oh, yeah. No, and those.
So
I mean, you're better than me.
Anxiety outside the cage than I do in, bro. When I watch my friends fight, bro, it's like I have heart attacks, man. I don't ever get nervous when I fight.
No, 100%. I think those are the worst ones for me. I think we had in the UFC, probably about a month or two ago, we had Daniel Rodriguez facing Gabriel Green in the UFC, and both of them are my friends. Have done this very podcast, right? And it's just like those are the ones that I cannot. I'm like, I almost want to close my eyes. I know they're going to be great fights, but I'm just like, just let me know when it's over. Just let me know when it's over.
Absolutely, man. No way. That's when the parking lot party means even more because you went. And I mean, because especially when you cross train with so many guys, and then you wind up being friends with guys that aren't even on your team, but you got to fight each other's teammates. And if it comes down to like where we're at on the level with BKFC with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, I mean, we might wind up, even me and Burrito might have to fight the 165 title, or I might have to fight whatever. But until then, we're all gonna have fun and enjoy riding this big fast pony that they got rolling here.
Yeah, I mean they as well you should be as well you should be, and we all should be as well, And Jesse here, he's saying the best fight for him is Tito versus Ken Shamrock. I mean that's one of the greatest of all time, fights.
One my favorite fight of all time, really, what I give credit is Hoist Gracie versus Chemo, just because it was a smaller man that faced a giant and like slammed on his head and pounded and still broke his arm. And man, I was like, because I was little, I was 103 pounds. I wrestled my freshman year, 112, 119. 135 and 152 my senior year, just because I had other 35, a 45, and a 52. We were all kind of the same weight. We just shared the weight club. But I was never a big guy. Even now, I mean, I'm 165. I fought 155 most of my career, and just decided to bulk up to 165. Now that there is a 165 weight class, man, that's supposed to have been my weight class the whole time. It's the perfect amount of weight for me to carry my power and fight on another subject there. But yeah, man, so
Damn, that's amazing. Well, and that's the thing about it. Obviously, I guess great fights are subjective, but I mean, you got to remember that Chemo, and I think he gets lost in the shuffle in terms of like like literally mainstays of the early days of MMA and UFC specifically. I mean, coming out with the cross and all of that jazz, and I mean, that was pro wrestling 101, and then Rampage with the dog collar, the
I went
dog
to
chain.
school with Rampage. He's one of the reasons. We went to school together, wrestled together. He was in Memphis West Side. I was at Dyersburg. But man, they used to come out, and I remember even I was at Bolton High School for the wrestling. It was the regionals to go to state, and I remember him when he was on the match beside me while I was when I went to state that year, and we fought our semifinal match beside each other. And I remember him the first fight, Rampage Jackson, because I knew him and kept in touch with him, and that 2 years that we were around each other, it was cool. I mean, I've lost touch since, but when he went to the UFC, I remember I'd been in a real bad motorcycle accident and was wrapped up at the house, and it was the first time that UFC was ever free on Spike TV, the unified title. Dan Henderson and Quentin Jackson. And I remember sitting on there going, oh my God, I can go back to wrestling and doing this stuff again. UFC's going mainstream. Okay. And that's when I knew. I was like, that was literally, I started the day after that, I started my email, Fist Fighter 101. And I was like, I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to move off. I'm going to become a UFC star, Mom. All these things I've always supposed to been doing. I think it's mainstream now. I think I can do this. I'm going to go do it. All right. And I did. I took a duffel bag, moved down to Florida with a bunch of training stuff, started training at Ultimate Boxing down in Florida with a bunch of guys, went 10-0 in 1 year, turned pro, moved to Georgia, been here with my wife about 12, 13 years now. I'm a lead instructor for 4 or 5 gyms here in Atlanta, X3 Sports, trained with Fabio Costa, Gracie Boss, some of the best guys in the world, Bruno Rosado from Atos. I've had the pleasure of training with some of the best guys in the world here now, man. So amazing. I love it.
That's brilliant. I love it. And the fact that your guys's careers pretty much are mirroring each other. Even from high school now into your guys' adult lives. Wives, kids, all that stuff, or whatever. And it's you guys are still there.
There was actually okay. So my freshman year, another guy, On the card with me, he had two guys that fought law school MMA in Memphis. The owner of law school, me and him actually fought each other at Bolton High School in the cafeteria. The electricity went out because of a snowstorm, and they took us into the cafeteria so we could finish the tournament in daylight. And we fought each other the first time in high school. And he fights for V3 in Memphis, and now me and him are backstage at the BKFC. He's got two of his guys fight, and me and him went to high school together. I was the Dyersburg Trojans. He was Millington Trojans. So, this is a universal circle. And that's what I mean. Like, you never know when you're going to run back into somebody that you were friends with, or you wrestled against, or you karate kicked at 11, and now his son's turning pro, or whatever, man. It's like, there's just such a it's cool, man. The universe surprises me how connected things are when you live where you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. They often say, there's 6 degrees of separation, but here in combat sports, it's kind of like 2, like really 2.
A little more connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the left 2 valves of the 6. We cover 2 whole valves of the 6 levels of separation for sure.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, if Georgia, born and bred. What is the fight scene in Georgia? I mean, for a year when I was a kid, we actually used to live in Lithonia, down in DeKalb County. So, like, what is the fight scene there in Georgia?
Man, it's amazing, dude. I got a guy right now, 9-0, Cole Farrell, 135 at my gym. Rodrigo Archulero, he was Olympic. He was on the Olympic team for judo, jiu-jitsu world champion, judo world champion in Brazil. We brought him over here. Bruno Rosada, he's an ADCC guy. We had him there. He opened up his own school, Atos. We had Hani Adepaiva at one of my gyms in X3 Sports. The director is one of my really good friends and my professor now for Gracie Baja, Fabio Costa. He's been the director of Gracie Baja here in Georgia forever. X3 Sports has 4 gyms. Like I said, they hire so many guys. I got Coach Aladino and Coach Isidoro. He helped Yoel Ramirez get ready for his upcoming fight. He was the Olympic team coach in Cuba. When everything kind of got to where we could bring people here and they could get visas, we brought him over here. And Coach Aladino and Coach Isidoro both have come over here teaching boxing. So I get to work with some great guys. I'm a coach alongside them, but I also get to work with them, watch them coach, take their classes. And it's just amazing, man, because the culture in Atlanta is everywhere. It's the West Coast. People from New York have come here, people from California, where if they're tired of it being dried out, or it's overpopulated, or crime, or whatever, they move. And the businesses from there, Hollywood moved to Atlanta now, so they're directing movies and studios. So those people have brought new stuff in, growing the small towns. So it went from when I first started here 15 years ago, this gym hates this gym, that gym hates that gym. Man, I go to Knuckle Up one day. I go to train with Manu one day, who fought Duke Rufus. He's amazing. OSP goes down there and trains with him. I'm blessed to be able to train with him and Larry Green and guys like that. And then next thing I can go, haven't in a long time, but I went to American Top Team after fighting trained with Clay and a couple guys from there. We got Diego Lima, Douglas Lima. If you don't know who Douglas Lima is, watch Bellator. Okay. If you don't know who Diego is, watch the UFC. Those brothers, amazing, man, and they've been fighting here since they were 17. I do that in Georgia. After I left Florida and Alabama, become a champion, the real champions, the real black belt, the world. I think we got the only red belt on this side of the Mississippi River. Master Miguel, I trained with him at KBX. Dude, it's amazing. I can't. That's why I do everything. That's why I do pro submission grappling, pro Muay Thai. I train with some of the best Muay Thai guys in the world, best jiu-jitsu guys in the world, best Noki guys, best boxers in the world. And I don't think you can really find that anywhere but like Los Angeles, New York, man. You don't have as much martial arts, great boxing, but not as much of the jiu-jitsu and maybe some Muay Thai. There's some great trainers everywhere, but man, Atlanta's just got a melting pot of everything.
I love it. Because that used to be the old school mentality. You have to go to Brazil, or you have to go to California or whatever. And doing these podcasts, it's just like fighting is happening and everywhere. There's like 6 fight promotions in Alaska. You're like, what? Alaska? And it's just like everywhere. Elite gyms are popping up. Elite fighters are coming up every day, no matter what. I mean, who would have thought Francis Ngannou 10 years ago, he didn't even know what MMA was, and he's already had a title shot, looking like he might have another one. It's just like, this is what it is, and that's how crazy this sport has grown.
Fast, man. It's amazing. I mean, from being on not on TV, being on Spike TV, to being on Fox TV, to being on Fox TV 3 days a week, to buying their own island for the UFC, to not being legal, to being legal, to now Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, the fastest growing sport in the world, and the new UFC I mean, we're two of the only sports going in the world right now. So I mean, like, you got Fight Island, and you got us still doing it here, still breeding fighters and still kicking ass. And it's going to keep getting bigger and keep getting more exciting as long as I'm here anyway.
Right. Who knows? I'm just saying. Just saying. Now, Joe, I mean, over your illustrious career, I mean, you got to have some, fights, some fight camps, gyms or experiences stick out more so than some others, and not to denote any of the ones that don't. But I mean, what have been you as a person, as a fighter, as a father, husband? What has been some of your favorite memories in your career?
Taking my wife to Canada, walking on the Canadian side. There, I got to take her and actually walk under the Niagara Falls. And now that I'm not in Canada, I can't get trouble. I skipped over the little thing where it said don't climb, and I walked and put my hand in the Niagara Falls. Yeah, man, just like that. I guess those are two of my favorite experiences. My first fight that my son got to come watch me live. He had a pack of M&Ms and Skittles versus Ryan Jett's manager or promoter, whatever he was. I was going to win, or I wasn't, and I got to win my son a pack of peanuts. So just getting to share those experiences and show them why I've done what I've done my whole life, having my wife in my corner every single fight. She's that cutthroat kindergarten teacher of the year. You know what I mean? But in that corner, she's in my corner. Just being able to share those experiences, anything like that. This win with BKF, feeling like they're gonna treat me like I deserve and help me grow and advertise with me. And they got a special surprise. I can't say what's gonna happen, but they got a TV crew coming in to do something special this week. So I just appreciate what they put into me and because I put my everything into every fight. You go back and watch a fight where I got paid 500 to show and 500 to win, and I went out there with death threats and everything. Like, it's all or nothing. So even in my amateur career, hell, I got the lady let me live there, but I wasn't getting paid. I had cotton balls stuffed in my face one time. Sammy Collinwood, the guy that nicknamed me the Hitman, Big Sammy Collinwood, he fights or referees for Island Fights down in Florida. He's going to be in my corner this fight. My first fight, they called me Joe the Animal. After I came out and beat this guy who was 11-0, that was way above my weight class, he said, "You ain't the animal, you're the Hitman." I just had a hit list since then, taking guys out. And memories like that, man. All my new friends, everything. I could sit here all day and I love every minute. It's embedded in me, and it makes me smile. And the days I don't feel good, there's one of those memories I pick up and kick ass and feel good again. I love it.
I love every bit of it, and especially, I mean, as a father myself, like the Eminem and Skittles story, having your wife in your corner, those are amazing. Those are moments that transcend just the fight life. It permeates into your life as a person, your journey, as a person, and your relationships with the people around you, your family, and otherwise. So I think it's amazing. But another thing that is absolutely amazing is your fan base. So what do you have to say to your fans that have supported your entire career thus far?
They know how much I love them, dude. From Florida to Tennessee to the people that I grew up with on the farm. And I knocked out this 200-pound kid in the parking lot. I probably weighed 103 pounds. he's rest in peace. I love him. Clint Wallace. He was a cop, fell asleep after 24 hours of duty and passed away last year. But I remember knocking him down. And Clint used to kill everybody. He beat me up. I'm not gonna lie, but I knocked his ass out in front of everybody. And people back then that I grew up with, like, man, you always should fight. You always should fight. So it's cool to get to have them and just say thank you. I love you guys. Just everything. Man, their kids watch me now and want me to send them pictures, and it keeps me energized. Like if you're doing something and nobody cares, it sucks. And it's like you really, especially when you're doing it for others, if you're truly fighting for fans and that emotion, like I said, I can't live without them. If nobody was watching me, fighting in a silent room was the scariest thing. I said I'm not afraid of anything but God, no man. But fighting in that silent room with nobody watching, with me and my wife, was like, there better be a million people watching online. And I had to try to find a way to focus on those people because I want that room full of people to be able to affect their energy. So thank y'all for even letting me have that. Thanks for filling the room. Even the people that are see me lose. Thank y'all. Love y'all. I can't do this without none of y'all.
I love it. I love it. Now, also, some of the folks that have supported you in your career, right? Financially, because it isn't easy. There's easier ways to make
Thanks
money than
very much.
fighting,
So,
right? So let's shout out some of your sponsors, my man.
all right. So, some of my biggest sponsors, Robert from Innovative Aquatics. He does fish tanks and stuff for a lot of people down here, like really special fish tanks for the movies and stuff, even in Hollywood. I believe he's got one at Ludacris's house. But he's giving me money. We're jiu-jitsu training partners. He's helped me where I could take off, and I train full time now. Every fight he sponsors me. He helps with t-shirts and just anything training. Nivea Health in Woodstock has picked me up. I mean, everything I need medically, electrotherapy, game ready machines. If I need B12 or whatever, like chiropractic, anything that has to do with my health and recovery, if they have that option at their health clinic, they completely provide it for me. IVs after training, just anything. So thank them so much. I can't push my body. I wouldn't feel 27 without y'all. Down to Earth Irrigation, Russ Cassidy. He's used to be a fighter here. He's doing really well since COVID. Like that landscaping and home improvements have picked up. So he gives back to fighters all the time. They're gonna fly. All these guys are gonna fly down and watch me fight. Dude, I'm gonna have 50 people flying to Daytona. They've already rented rooms and tickets to come watch me fight, and he's a part of that group too. So thank them. Cobb Pain Health, Dr. Jason Weeks. He literally helps with every single fighter here. I've never paid for one chiropractic appointment, one therapy. Nothing, man. That when I broke my hand during a fight, he got me a game ready machine, sent it to my house, and told me don't do nothing, man. Just get better and keep doing what you do. So thank him. Towboat USA in Altoona. I bought a boat this year. I said this the other day. They always say, "What's the best day of your life?" Is when you buy a boat, when you sell a boat. The first and the last day. I broke down, man, on my wife's birthday out there, and for free, he come and towed me in, and now he sponsored me. So if anything happens to my boat, whether it's on my trailer or on the water, anywhere in the U.S., they sponsor me. That's Towboat US. It's like $90 a month. So if you have a boat, it's really awesome. Not just my sponsors. Just Heart Apparel. Andrew Sams, he's one of my fighters from he came in and when he was 16 years old. But now he sponsors fighters, and they own Just Heart Apparel, Just Heart West Coast and East Coast. If you need a shirt made, they make my shirts. 100% of the profit, basically, they let me take what I cost. You see all my sponsors on the back. So, Just Heart Apparel, thank y'all so much. Thank you, BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Y'all are freaking amazing. Thank you for this platform. I love you guys. Thank you. Was it all about Woods, correct?
Adam Woods, Gordon Woods.
Adam Woods. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate this. Just every platform I get to let people get to know me, so they can see beyond the psycho that kills in that cage, in that ring, in that circle, in that square. Thanks to you, man. And again, thanks to my family, my wife, my grandma, my dad, everybody that loves me, my aunts, my uncles. They're just all there. I mean, they're flying from Arizona. They're flying, and I love y'all. I fight with my heart, and I wouldn't have it without y'all. So thanks, everybody.
We love you too, Joe. We thank you for everything that you've done in the sport. And for those who have enjoyed Team Hitman thus far, where can they find you on social media, my man?
If you want to find me on IG, it's at Joe Hitman 187. If you're from California, you know what? There's a 187 in the page with me.
Yeah.
It's a 187 in the. So just look
What,
up that Joe Hitman 187 because that's what we do. And on Facebook, Joe Hitman Elmore. Joe Elmore is my page. It's filled up, but I have a fan page I'm going to start working on again and focus on my BKFC at Joe Hitman Elmore. So that's all. Yeah, check it out.
damn right. Well, I followed him. You guys should too. Again, a man that has given time and time again to the sport, and he will continue to do so. First, starting on September 11th for BKFC. I can't wait. Joe, thank you so much. This has been According to Woods with the Joe Elmore, and